I just use my computer. How are you? This is Wokang speaking. Nice to see all of you. Nice to meet all of you. And I'm one of the artists with Artist Proof Studio, Printmaker. Um, that's I've been doing printmaking for more than 7 years now. So some of the work that you see there are done by professional printmakers, and some of them are done from graduates, alumni, and so on. So that's just a short introduction of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, could Kumar Malia unmute? Say hi, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi. Hi, how are you? I'm Kumar Ramaila. Again, thank you for hosting us. Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone can hear.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm currently a student at Artist Proof Studio. I'm doing my 4th year, and besides, I've been doing art for a couple of years now. I've been doing it since high school, but I guess say that my primary medium is printmaking, and that's what I'm presenting to you guys. Thank you.
Next up, could Sako unmute? Say hi. Introduce yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Sako Obiani. Grew up in Soweto, South Africa. I'm currently a student at Artist Proof Studio, a 4th-year student. I've been doing full screen since my 3rd year, and yeah, been experimenting more on that even for my 4th year. And the work that I'm doing so to it's my collection for last year, and yeah.
Thank you. Next up, Misa, could you unmute, introduce yourself, say hi?
Hi, I'm Misa. I'm an Artist Proof Studio student, 4th year, and I've been doing art since high school, and I mainly focus on printmaking so far, and I'm here to present my work. Yeah, hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much. Next up, Latino, could you unmute and introduce yourself? Latino.
Hi everyone. How are you? I'm Slavutelo Ngobeni. I've been doing printmaking now for 4 years, and I'm working at the pro shop at Artist Proof Studio as a professional printmaker. So I'm here to present my work, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Felipa, can you unmute? Say hi. Felipa, you're muted. Can you? It's on her end, I think.
Hi.
Okay, there you go. Hi.
Sorry it took long to unmute. Hi, my name is Philippa Romano. I'm a multimedia artist. I also am a printmaker. So I just finished my senior grad at Artist Proof Studio, and my work usually addresses issues surrounding gender, race, and societal issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, could Chubahatsu unmute? Say hi.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Nice. So my name is Tsogofatsong Kumeleng, formerly known as INI. I'm a professional printmaker. I've studied at Artist Proof Studio, but I've been an artist from primary, mentored by big artists as well. One of the artists that mentored me is John Vusimfupi. Probably some of you might be familiar with him because he has exhibited in the US as well. And yeah, it's I'm happy to be part of the show as well, and my work focus more in the hustle and how we navigate towards our success in life. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Next up, Chevy Noir, could you introduce yourself? Unmute.
Hi everyone. I think it's afternoon that side, evening this side. Thank you so much for having us. Name is Chevy Noir. I am also a multidisciplinary artist working with prints, paintings, animations here and there. I'm an explorative, experimentative artist. So really a lot of my art speaks about the nature of an overthinker, and kind of like when I create the artworks, it's diving into just exploring that realm of how can you create when you've got all these ideas that pop into your head, and how can you really structure them into like a single piece and a single figure. So it's just navigating all that kind of feeds the overthinker's mentality. And yeah, also at Artist Proof Studio doing my 4th year this year. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out this dual hybrid Zoom thing. Thank you. As y'all were going around the room, we were pointing to your work so that everyone could have a reference as to whose work was who. So what I wanted to do is invite dialogue between you and the other artists that are in the show, the Printmakers of DC, and also just general public who are here and may be curious. So we'll have a little Q&A moment, and if you have any other dialogue, you're welcome to share as well. Do I need a microphone, you guys? No. Okay. I am loud and me too. So just to kind of kick off my question, my right, and then I will hand it to Esther and Alice, who will also co-moderate and ask you all for questions as well. And looking at the work between by printmakers and the work of those from Johannesburg, there was a nod to the diaspora in making art of a lot of Black American artists, and it made me think of how it made me think of what we have in America, similar to the term of like Ubuntu, right? So like Ubuntu, like I said before, is we are. What was it? I am because we are a very collective, incorporating of lifting up as community, as individuals. And I likened it to like Kwanzaa. I was like, we have something similar, like Kwanzaa, right? So I was like, so Kwanzaa, if you don't know, is like it's like Black Christmas. So it's like during the Christmas holiday, there are 7 days of Kwanzaa where principles are kind of adhered to. And this really reminded me of what's called Ujima, and I will read to you what they are, and you can see how similar they are to Ubuntu. And so Ujima is to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters problems our problems and solve them together. So just like how Ubuntu is has an ideology to solve political conflicts and bring about socio-political harmony, that's like the same thing, right? So we're having the same conversation across the diaspora, across Black Americans, across those that are in the continent. And just, it's not a question, but I guess observation. And I wanted to see if anybody else finds a similarity and how we use that collective spirit in our practice. Like how do artists, how do everybody here incorporate community building, responsiveness, togetherness in their daily life? That's the question. Anyone to answer either from the Zoom room or this room or Susan? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the whole beauty of printmaking is community, because you are in a community space with each other. Can't speak to the political ramifications of some of your questions, but I think I would want to know why these artists in South Africa gravitated to printmaking, because to me that's the connective tissue right here. You know, in terms of helping one another, print, we need to help each other.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect place.
So I have Kim as like the relay for questions for the Zoom, right? So your question kind of is like as printmakers.
Well, how did they
What drew the Artist Proof Studio to printmaking as a medium?
Okay.
Anyone
Can I take that one? Chevy?
Please.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to answer kind of both of the questions. The first one regarding just how we came to the closeness of the two concepts, I guess. I'm doing a lot of kind of research regarding the human psyche, trying to understand better how to kind of solve problems that are going. I mean, we've got war going on, there's poverty, there's crime, there's so many things going on in the world that in my conscious mind, I'm like, I think the first thing we have to solve is what's going on in our heads. So I stumbled upon Carl Jung, and he introduced this concept of the collective unconscious, this kind of shared space that it holds this inherent knowledge, you know, of humanity that we were able to engage with subconsciously or unconsciously. And it's just up to us to kind of identify the teachings that we kind of, you know, experience within that consciousness, and then we bring them out. So Ubuntu, which is basically, you know, what's here? So we, like, I am because you are, and you are because I am. That kind of approach is like, it's a human beings trying to be good human beings. And we don't have to kind of, like, we fight it a lot, but like the truth is, like, we all kind of have that foundation in our heads that I want to do good, I want to be around people who do good, and therefore we will continuously preach and promote being good. That's kind of number one. Number two, printmaking. I think for me personally, coming into Artist Proof Studio, I didn't really agree with people who studied art, because I thought it was something that you were born with, like a talent that you just have. And I didn't understand how you can teach someone how to create. But, you know, after like so many years of fighting against that, just like, oh no, I just went. So my decision was study something that you can't learn at home or on your own. Just do something more, expand, break the boundaries of your own kind of idea of what art can be and what it is. And, you know, 3 years of doing printmaking with Artist Proof Studio, and it's opened up my mind and perspective on what art can do, where art can move, and yeah, that stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Aziza, you were gonna also have I saw you do a little. Okay, go for it. Bring it in.
I was listening to think about Sean, and I wanted to encourage him to take a look at Fukiao, because I think it's very important for us to, as we develop our concepts, that we look to our own culture for it, because there's so much power in our own culture, and so much of it has been hidden from us. And we need the young people to look to our thinkers to bring our ideas about what consciousness is. And we have very deep ideas about these things. So I wanted to encourage you to look and find within South Africa and within the continent, within the diaspora, these Black folks that have spread across the globe, look for our ideas and help to bring them forward.
Can you guys hear us talking in the room?
Amen to that.
Okay, good. I was like making sure.
Amen, sister.
That was gold.
100%. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I'm just, we have questions, but I'm just curious as well to hear from like Aziza, Carol, Percy, like your response to some of the work you see on the wall. Like how, yeah, just.
Technically, it's exquisite. And when I came in and I looked around, I was very proud.
Yay.
So thank you. Thank you.
The work that I've seen is beautiful. And I would have a few questions if I knew the individual person and how they went about doing it.
Well, which one? Maybe they're in the Zoom room. Okay. Yes, I know. I got you. Don't worry. I know.
I really appreciate looking at it, and it brings it's a joy to me every time I see a print. And just look at these prints are really nice. They really are.
Fantastic. Ms. CJ, I see you nodding your head. You agree? Wonderful work.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Ms. Carol, do you have any comments?
It's very striking, the variety of both techniques that you used and the preciseness of the lines that have been made. It's very moving and very, the precision with which you are able to work, the skill level is amazing.
Busy.
So thank you so much for all of this. I had a question in my mind. When you start working on a plate or on a piece, how do you first start? I mean, it's whatever's in your head that you're trying to put down, and then what comes next when you're actually putting your hands on it?
So yeah, how do you begin work on a piece? Like what's the starting point from the initial thought to putting it into like material reality?
Let me take this one. With me, how I started, especially with these prints, I had to do a lot of thinking because I was going through a process of meditating and visualizing, and I just wanted to figure out how do I put whatever that's in my mind into paper, into a print, into an artwork. Now, I took it upon myself to plan out each and every layer that I do on that print. Plan out even the lines, even how I'm going to carve that plate, because it's a lino reduction. So every color that you see, it's well planned out. And I have also artworks that sort of control me and just take me on a journey. But with these ones specifically, I had to say a statement, and I had to say something about my concept as a whole. So the process, how I started is planning out, and from planning out and then executing it. And then I was just speaking about on this specific print of mine, I was just speaking about the word of mouth, that everything that we speak, we can speak things into existence, and the power lies in the tongue. So I just wanted to emphasize, lines coming from the mouth area, to say that from our mouth, then we create our own world. And me speaking about, where I come from and who I am, and then things that I experience in the world, and having to create this sort of an ideal man. And in his this world that he exists in, he also creates his own ideal life. And this is one way to go about it. So one of the pieces that you may see on the show, it just speaks about that spoken word, that we speak things into existence, whether we are conscious or unconscious about it. And everything starts from that. It starts from the thought, and then from the thought it comes down to the word, and then from the word then it materializes. So everything that you see all around it is started from that inception of a thought, and then comes down to the word, and then the manifestation of that same word. That's basically giving me. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Bopain's work is in our Amherst Gallery. Just a block up if you wanted to take a visit on while you're in the neighborhood. We have a second location of work in this gallery as well. There. Yeah, part two, hit it.
I have a question for him. Does he see the artist as like increasing, like when he's taking the concept and making the artwork, does he see it almost as if the artist is increasing the density of thought so it becomes actually materializes into something?
Did you guys hear the question? Do we need to repeat it closer?
I did no, I didn't catch some of the parts.
I wanted to know if you
I think
see the artist as like taking thought and increasing the density of it until it's like it comes through to become a material thing. You're taking almost thought and materializing it.
Do you see the artist as taking like thought through themselves to make it real and make it material?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. That's where everything starts. Everything, as a man thinketh, so is he. So in order for anyone to even express something, there has to be a thought that you want to express. So that's where everything starts from. The unconscious, and then comes the conscious, then it comes to the physical 3D world. Now that's where artists, we operate on. It's just sometimes it's an inspiration that happens, and or it can be an inspiration via a question, and then you trying to probe and trying to find the question. Then when you find the answer for that question, and then you translate it into a visual representation of the solution, or even the question itself. I mean, sometimes as artists, you want to interrogate some social issues. You want to interrogate something within yourself. So it's always comes, as we call it, an expression. We start expressing that thought. Yeah.
Does anyone else want to share about their, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, please go ahead.
I wanted to find out, was that question directed towards Bokang, or was it for everyone, or just
For
anyone who had?
For everyone.
Yeah, for everyone.
Oh, okay. Then
For
just
anybody.
my little
Yeah.
2 cents on it. I had an argument with a few friends, I think a few weeks ago, months ago, where we were talking about the role of an artist. And I remember I emphasized so much to this guy that, like, how is it, like, how am I supposed to be okay coming out to the world with my ego saying, hey, I made something beautiful, you must enjoy it? And he was like, it's not ego, my guy. Your role as an artist is to take information from, in my regards, from God, get that information, kind of process it within myself, and then output it. So that kind of, and I listened to him say this to me, and I was like, wow, okay, thank you. I don't have to fight my ego anymore. Now I can be a servant of God in some way. So yeah, I think that the role of an artist is to kind of take information and process it within and output whatever it is it created. Because I think the narratives that we have, the stories that we tell, are stories that would, like, they the gaps, I think, like the missing link between generations and people. So I think, yeah, it's important for us to kind of constantly remember that you are a vessel for communication, of communication. I don't know how to phrase that sentence, but you are to communicate. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else have general questions for anybody of the, I think we have some, questions to also be the one to. I guess what I wanted to ask well, I'm looking at all the artists, but I am right now signaling the women. So I'm looking at Misa and Felipa. What is it that you want people to see, to feel, or what is it that you want to communicate when we look at your art? Yeah. Do you think that there's a richness or something even more distinctive that you can say as being women through your work?
Could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you properly.
I am curious if you feel that there is something more that you can say as women, through your work of art. What are you adding to the richness of the community? Is there something distinctive in your story that you want to share?
Well, when I first created my artworks, how can I say this? My first thought was to scare as many men as I can around us as a woman, and show them, as much as they try to put us in a hole, we are able to scream as loud as we can in many forms and in many ways, and not just with our voices. And with the art that I created, I made it to be so expletive that when people were to stand and stop, they would think that what led me to do such things. What, the same way they would ask many men, what led you to treat women in such ways, and what made you think that doing such a thing is okay, and being shown so openly, without regret and without guilt forming inside of you. So the whole point of it was to scream out with images instead of my voice. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I understand.
And thank you for that. And Philippa?
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Philippa, did you have anything to add?
Oh yes. What I like most about my work, I think from a woman's standpoint, is that I'm able to use female silhouette or my silhouette as a woman to portray a message in a way that's not usually the way that's female silhouettes and female bodies are used, especially in the nowadays age, or even before, because mostly female bodies objectified a lot, and usually they are used to portray something that doesn't really, or sometimes things that are not important, or used as some sort of entertainment. So I feel like it's very empowering to be able to use my silhouette, or should I say female silhouettes, to convey powerful messages, messages that challenges societal issues surrounding gender itself and race, and generally what's happening in the world. So when you look at the work that I presented for this show, it's a female silhouette, but it's distorted. So yes, you can tell that it's a female silhouette, but then it's not presented in the way that it's normally presented, be it on TV or through the media. And there's some barbed wire and intricate fabrics inside, and the juxtaposing of the two showing a lot of tearing. And this I did to kind of project myself as a human being, or all of us as humans surviving in a world that is very harsh and cruel. So especially looking at now with all the wars that are happening in the world, it takes me back to the first question that was asked about Ubuntu. I feel like we have made this word Ubuntu kind of useless, because we are hardly ever practicing it. I feel like if you look at especially all the wars that are happening in the world right now, and all the injustice that's happening in the world right now, I feel like if people really considered Ubuntu, the world should be actually at a better place. I feel like Ubuntu is a word that is just used to cover up, or to use as excuses, or to use to make ourselves feel better, but then it's not actually being practiced, because the word Ubuntu is a very powerful word, and it's actually deeply immersed in the idea of love. And if you look at what's happening in the world right now, it's far off from that word. Our reality is far off from that word. So me using female silhouettes to portray messages of what's actually happening in the world at the moment kind of makes me, or makes female body silhouettes empowered in a certain way. Hence I feel very privileged and honored to be an artist that uses that type of art skill and style to portray my messages. So yeah, I hope that answers the questions quite well.
That's like having dessert after meal. It was very filling. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Well, we had a couple of questions. I think something that we've learned while researching about Johannesburg is that it's a very multicultural city. It has a lot of, immigrants, migration from all over the continent, from all over the area. Well, DC is very, very similar in that aspect. It's, a very multicultural space. And I wanted to ask if you feel like there is something to the location that you have developed your work. I think especially when talking about printmakers in DC, you have New York right there, you know, like you chose DC for it to be the place where you establish your practice, as well as Johannesburg as a place where APS is. Do you feel like there is something to it that inspires your work within the location? Yeah.
Sorry, was that directed to me?
Oh, to everyone, yeah.
Oh,
Sort of like,
okay.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Like, I don't know, within like Johannesburg, like if you feel like it impacts your work, and within DC, if it impacts your work as well.
I think I can take that one. I guess I've always just kind of like grown up believing that you are a product of your environment, and the longer you stay in an environment, the more accustomed you become to surviving in the environment. So I guess since I've been in Johannesburg since high school and well into college, I do feel like the environment and the people around it do influence my work because I guess when kind of just tackling the work that I do, it's more related to the culture around Johannesburg, and I guess pushing the narrative for just like being this trying to be an edgy artist, or just trying to be this newer beautiful artist who just doesn't work traditionally but works in a way that's more connected to the times now. I do believe that the city and area does play a huge impact because I'd argue about a good 6, 7 years of my life has been around Johannesburg. Um, yeah. Hope that answers well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Coming to me, sorry for just jumping in like that, but based on me and my experience in Johannesburg and Soweto is like, I feel the environment that I'm in and the city that I'm used to go to, it's more connected to my work in all angles, because looking at how people move towards survival every day, to me triggers my emotion and thoughts based on what I see every day in my township as well. Because where I come from is like, I'm sure even in New York, rats are all over, which is something that I use as a metaphor. So coming across rats, moving around open spaces where there is dump, trying to survive, and looking at our people moving into the town and moving like rats as well. And it made sense to me because when I was doing my research, I came across this animation. I think it was done by a US artist, which is Steve Katz. It explains everything like I explain in my work, but me, I dive into every aspect, every corner. I tackle every angle from my point of view, the way I understand things, and looking at life as a game, because I feel like as individual in this world, we all bound to win. We all want to win. There's no one who wants to face failure, you know. Failure is something that we can run away from, but success is what we want to achieve always. So through that journey, we face obstacles, and obstacles comes our way, which is something that pulls us back because they suppress our emotions and give us stress. So it's where Shavi will come in with the psychology, explaining the effects of what the human go through when they face failure. And those challenges for me, they make us feel small, but the only thing to make it in life is to be positive and just hope for better and move towards your goals. However, you come across negativity in your way, you have to try and suppress that negativity towards positivity. I don't know, am I making sense anyhow? But yeah, it's how I'm looking at things and analyzing things and trying to explain that into my work, giving people their identity and motivating them as well when they are feeling so down, thinking that they shouldn't give a life a try, you know. So yeah, that's me. I hope I've answered the question. uh yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you so much. Anything to add? Then I think we had like another question about the different like techniques, and I think that goes for everyone. And it's sort of like, you know, there's such a mix of techniques here, and there's such a mix of techniques, you know, in every corner of the space. And if there was anything about the technique that you specifically use that reflected very like better your storytelling and like your personal artistic process, and why did you choose it?
I'll call somebody out.
Okay, I'll
So,
take this.
oh, go for it.
I'll take
Go for it.
Okay, so for me, I normally enjoy carving onto lino plates, but for the work that I submitted, that I did some screen printing, and I felt like screen printing was best for this concept because it allowed me to layer. It allowed me to work around layering, which is exactly what I wanted to in my work. And also it allowed me to, because when I was using fabric, the lace fabric in the prints, I wanted them to show, because it's a very intricate fabric, so it has so many smaller details, and I thought the only technique that would work for me to have to use that fabric on the works was going to be screen printing. So yes, I think, and it came out right, exactly the way I expected it to come out. So yeah.
I was gonna ask Miss Aziza. So I watched one of the documentaries. I pulled the quote from there. I have read one times, like just to get the quote right, but I have it on the label that I have to work here, and I'm surmising. But essentially, you said that how much you love the figure, and that you could press until the figure became abstract. I have all that kind of probably wrong, but there's something of what you said there. And I know you do a lot of like collaging and mixed media. And so was there a process of straight liner, litho, screen printing, then because there was just so much abstractness, or like a new form that you wanted to make, that you kind of had to blend it, or was that always the way of your creation?
Yeah, well, I think I got to a point with the figure where the ideas were getting more complex, but also the body, because the Black body, because it's so politicized, it would interfere with the concept. So I started diminishing the figure. But I even currently, I still carve linoleum-like stuff. I use like something called a speedy blocks, something like that. And I can press the print. I can press the print into the painting, and then paint it using glazes, push it back and pull it forward, and then use collage, the paper of which has been printed, But now I'm cutting the printed paper and adding it back in. So then it just creates, more depth.
Yeah.
So I guess having that depth in the piece created by the collage and the layers of the collage help to express the concept.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same series of thought, I wanted to ask Misa, because we have a series here from you where it's almost like a collage element, like there's pieces. Yeah, there's pieces of the paper like coming off. And I just wanted to ask about the process going into that series.
With the process, I started first with cyanotype, where I didn't give it the normal image that you get from cyan. I mixed it with chemicals that I found in the kitchen, which gave me the different effects, like the brown, the different hues that you see there. And then I used lino for the top layer, which I did a 3D effect to give it the sense of having so much emotion going on inside of you, but enclosing it and only have bits of it coming out, in a sense of showing that how people tends to have so much going on in their life, but then they cannot express it the way they want to, and only bits of those emotions keeps coming out at certain points in their lives. So that's how I came up with the whole idea of having the cyano as the background, describing the different emotions that goes through one, and have a solid color as a foundation to keep those emotions in place.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I think within that, I think we have Chevy's work right
can
here.
I go as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. All right. With me, in terms of the technique, I chose specifically lino reduction just because it gave me more control. So usually my go-to medium was just a monotype, which is like a painting kind of style, painting approach to making. So with monotype, it let me, be free, and just also the medium itself controls the artwork. So it'll dictate where the next layer will come on, how it should come on top of it, and the colors on top of it. So I'll do a bunch, I'll do shapes, and then on the next layer I'll do lines only, and on the next layer I'll just make, a sort of an effect or watercolor effect on top of it. But all of those layers are dictated by the artwork itself and what it wants. But on this specific series, I chose to have more control, more creative control. So everything, like I said, was planned out so that I can, nothing, the artwork now doesn't control the artist, but now it's the artist controlling the artwork, trying to make it exactly as I picture it in my head. And it's quite intriguing, and it led me to another conversation about, you'll find that most of the audience gravitate towards the artwork that it's maybe more abstract, and more the artwork itself sort of dictates its own way, and then they tend to not so much gravitate or not respond so much to where now the artist is ultimately having control and thinks everything through. So that's an interesting conversation about what people like and what the artist really likes.
Thank you all. I think we've had an awesome conversation. I'm like here and here, but I wanted to thank you all. I know it's like 9 to 6, 7, 8, 12 noon at night in Johannesburg. I know this is like not usual working time. So I thank you all for being here and past your bedtimes and and to meet with us. And so we all could see and meet you. Thank you. Chevy Noir, you had some, is it your hand raised for?
Yeah, for
Okay.
the lady who suggested that I kind of do some research and bring it back home, could we exchange emails and maybe just do some suggestions?
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Miss
thank you.
Aziza, she's a gem. I will absolutely,
Please, yeah.
I will
I mean,
absolutely connect you.
Normally when I tell people about the, Carl Jung, there's only a select few that say, "Hey, bring it home." So I like engaging with those individuals because
Yes.
they have
yes.
something that I don't. So yeah, please, can we just
Yes,
keep
you
in
should
touch?
get to know Miss Aziza.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
thank you.
I'm happy to connect you. But thank you all. Thank you in the room. Thank you in the Zoom room. All right. More to come. I'm gonna let y'all go back to bed. All right. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Okay. Ciao.